DorfChevy.com, the convenient way to shop your way anytime.
Tonight, several developing stories as we come on the air. President Trump at the border and what he said when asked if he'll declare a national emergency to fund his wall. Day 20 of the government shutdown, 800,000 workers will not get paid. And tonight, the government now suggesting to workers how to get by without your paycheck, with advice like be creative, hold a garage sale, offer to watch children or walk pets. Also breaking tonight, President Trump's former fixer and personal attorney, Michael Cohen, agreeing to testify before Congress and the country, taking questions about the president. Also, the major winter storm brewing tonight, heavy snow already hitting the Northeast. And then what's coming next? The storm hitting the Midwest and the East. Rob with the new track at this hour. The major outbreak on board one of the world's largest cruise ships, turning around, now headed back to the U.S. The new reported allegations tonight against singer R. Kelly, and the apology tonight from Lady Gaga after her duet with R. Kelly. The bus driver to the rescue to save a toddler who was barefoot in freezing weather, wandering in the cold. The shark attack right off the U.S. coast tonight, the dramatic images. And breaking news tonight involving one of the most famous athletes in the world, why authorities are now asking for his DNA.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a Thursday night. We have a lot to get to, and tonight we're going to begin with the president and what he said today when asked, will he declare an emergency to get his border wall built? The president with Border Patrol officers on the U.S.-Mexico border in Texas calling it a crisis. It's now day 20 of the government shutdown. Tonight, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi saying the president likes this, saying it's because it's a distraction from what else is happening in Washington. This evening, 800,000 American workers will not get paid. And is the president about to bypass Congress to get the wall built? Matt Gutman with what the president said. He's in Mission, Texas tonight.
Tonight, President Trump traveling far from Washington and those stalled shutdown talks, trying to drum up support for his wall by warning of a national security crisis at the border.
If you don't have it, it's going to be nothing but hard work and grueling problems. And by the way, and death, a lot of death.
But we got a different story from the local mayor, Jim Darling.
One of the things the president mentioned is that there is a security crisis here. What was the murder rate in McAllen, Texas in 2018?
Zero. We had no murders.
Zero murders.
We're the safest city in the state of Texas.
The mayor doesn't want a wall here.
There's places a barricade makes sense.
But not necessarily right here.
And one of the reasons for that... Not my city, you know.
But the president is dug in. Even before taking off, he was sounding ready to declare a national emergency so he can go around Congress and use the military to build his wall.
I haven't done it yet. I may do it. If this doesn't work out, probably I will do it. I would almost say definitely.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi pointing out even many Republicans dislike that idea.
I think he's going to have to answer to his own party on usurping that much power. I don't think he really wants a solution. I think he loves the distraction that this is from his other problems, and that's most unfortunate. It's a luxury our country can't afford under any circumstance.
The president long promised American taxpayers would not have to pay for the wall.
Who's going to pay for the wall?
His campaign website even spelled out a plan to pressure Mexico to, quote, make a one-time payment of $5 to $10 million. Today, a different story.
When I said Mexico will pay for the wall in front of thousands and thousands of people, obviously they're not going to write a check, but they are paying for the wall indirectly.
That is not true either. The president is demanding $5.7 billion from Congress for the wall and says he won't reopen the government until he gets it. Reporters today asking if the buck stops with him.
The buck stops with everybody. They could solve this problem in literally 15 minutes.
All right, Matt Gutman with us live tonight from Texas. And Matt, we heard President Trump say there that he would, quote, probably almost definitely declare a national emergency to allow the military to build his wall. And tonight, you're learning that the head of the Army Corps of Engineers was actually on Air Force One with the president.
That's right, David. He came with the president and stayed with him for much of his time here at the border. Now, we've just learned that the White House has directed the Army Corps of Engineers to examine its emergency supplemental budget to see if there's enough money in there for the military to build that wall without additional government funding. David.
Matt Gutman in Mission, Texas, leading us off. Matt, thank you. Tomorrow, no checks will go out to those furloughed government workers. Nearly 1 million of them. Other workers will not get back pay. And look at this tonight. Demonstrations in Ogden, Utah, at Federal Plaza in Chicago, at the IRS building in Covington, Kentucky, and in Washington, D.C. across this country. And tonight the Coast Guard is out with this memo, advice to its workers who are not getting paid, telling them to be creative without their pay, have a garage sale, offer to watch children, walk pets, house sit, become a mystery shopper. ABC's Steve Osunsami with workers across this country who say this isn't politics, this is their lives.
Government workers across the country are taking their anger with Washington to the streets tonight.
The bills keep coming. They don't stop.
These are people who are missing this week's paycheck and won't get another one for who knows how long.
I got rent due at the end of this month. I have bills I need to pay in the meantime, and I'm not able to collect a paycheck.
About 420,000 of them still have to show up at work. Dan McCabe is an air traffic controller in suburban Atlanta who's working for free tonight.
My worry now is we're standing in it.
How to keep it.
How to keep it.
He and his wife Heather, a school teacher, are worried they could lose their home if the shutdown lasts. The government has suggested they call their lender to make a deal, which they did.
They said, well, we're really sorry that you're going through this, but you have 30 days to get your payment in full. And after 30 days, we report you to the creditors.
I mean, we're not driving the bus on this. We're under the bus on this.
Some of their bosses are giving them advice on how to get through this. In this tip sheet, the Coast Guard says their workers should throw garage sales, babysit children, or walk the neighbor's dog for extra cash.
Steve Osunsami with us live outside Atlanta tonight. And Steve, President Trump has said repeatedly that most of these workers not getting paid support what he's doing right now.
Well, the people we talked with today, David, answered that question tactfully, saying that their concerns are more immediate than a wall, such as paying for child care, paying the power bill, and they want the president to solve this. David?
Steve Osunsami with us tonight as well. Thank you, Steve. The other major headline involving the president at this hour, we learned today that the president's former lawyer and longtime fixer Michael Cohen will testify before Congress and the American people in just weeks. Mary Bruce on the Hill with what Michael Cohen is willing to answer.
Just weeks after being swarmed at his sentencing, tonight President Trump's former attorney and fixer Michael Cohen is again stepping into the spotlight, agreeing to testify under oath and in public on Capitol Hill to give what he's calling a full and credible account of his 10 years at Trump's side.
The man doesn't tell the truth. And it's sad that I should take responsibility for his dirty deeds.
Sentenced to 3 years in prison, Cohen pleaded guilty to lying to Congress about the president's plans to build a Trump Tower in Moscow, plans that extended well into the campaign. And he admitted to facilitating hush money payments in the months before the election to 2 women who alleged they had affairs with Trump, payments that for months the president denied knowing anything about.
Did you know about the $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels? Then why did Michael Cohen make this if there was no truth or allegation? You have to ask Michael Cohen.
But Cohen says he was acting at the president's direction in order to protect the campaign, and he has now spent more than 70 hours telling all to special counsel Robert Mueller. He told George Stephanopoulos he's done being the fall guy for the president.
So why should we believe you now?
Because the special counsel stated emphatically that the information that I gave to them was credible and helpful. There's a substantial amount of information that they possess that corroborates the fact that I am telling the truth.
But tonight, President Trump says he's not worried about Cohen's upcoming testimony.
And I'm not worried about it at all, no.
The president reacting to the news late today. Mary Bruce live up on the Hill again tonight. And Mary, Cohen, we know, is scheduled to testify in public on February 7th. And you're hearing tonight that there will be some limitations on what he'll be asked?
Well, David, the chairman of the committee tonight is stressing that there will be limitations on the questions asked of Cohen because they do not want to interfere with his ongoing cooperation with the special counsel. David.
Mary Bruce with us live again tonight. Thanks as always, Mary. We're going to turn now to the new winter storm developing and heading east. Winter weather alerts already up in the plains as lake effect snow keeps piling up. Whiteout conditions in Ashtabula, Ohio. This car spinning backwards on a highway on-ramp. Fulton, New York getting more than a foot of snow before it's done. And now this new system moving in. It's already getting very cold ahead of it. Senior meteorologist Rob Marciano tracking it live for us tonight. Hey, Rob.
Hi, David. That cold air is pouring in to to the eastern half of the country now as that new storm emerges in the plains. In the heartland, we've got a bunch of advisories, watches, now warnings up, which include St. Louis looks to be the target there. Let's start the clock tomorrow night at 5 o'clock, and we'll look for the snows to be emerging into St. Louis, increasing in through Saturday up the Ohio River Valley. I think it's mostly rain south of I-64, but it turns to snow in North Carolina over the Appalachians, some ice as well, and through Virginia. Blocking high keeps most of it out of the northeast, but a big swath of 4 to 8 inches of snow from Kansas City through northern Virginia, maybe a foot in some spots. Going to be dicey in that area this weekend. David?
Rob Marciano, a very windy West Side highway tonight. You're a good sport, Rob. Next here tonight to the nightmare at sea. A cruise ship struck by a potential outbreak of the norovirus. It's now headed back to the U.S. at this hour. Nearly 300 people falling ill on the Royal Caribbean's Oasis of the Seas, one of the largest cruise ships in the world. Here's ABC's Victor Oquendo tonight.
Tonight, one of the world's largest cruise ships heading back to port early. Royal Caribbean telling ABC News 277 people suffered an episode of gastrointestinal illness on board the Oasis of the Seas. The CDC now investigating sick passengers like Abby Perrin and her mother say it came on suddenly.
In the middle of the night, we both started feeling like we had food poisoning. So we had fevers and we're like throwing up. They're like recommending everyone who's sick to stay in their room.
On Sunday, about 9,000 guests and crew departed Port Canaveral on the scheduled 7-day Caribbean cruise. By Tuesday night, passengers reportedly started feeling symptoms that included nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea as the ship approached Jamaica. Tonight, passengers sharing video of crews trying to sanitize common areas as the ship is urging passengers to wash their hands. David, Royal Caribbean tells us that rather than have everyone worry about their health, the ship will be returning a day early and all passengers will be receiving a full refund. David?
All right, Victor Oquendo reporting in. Thank you, Victor. Next, there is new fallout after millions have watched a disturbing docuseries about singer R. Kelly. Tonight, Lady Gaga, the latest to speak out, pulling the song they sang together on streaming platforms. Prosecutors tonight say calls are now pouring in after they asked people to come forward. Here's ABC's Lindsay Davis again tonight.
Overnight, a crowd at the Chicago club snapping pictures of a defiant R. Kelly. His first public appearance since the firestorm over surviving R. Kelly, the Lifetime documentary detailing accusations of sexual and other misconduct toward women and teenage girls. R. Kelly has consistently denied the allegations, but fellow artist Lady Gaga is now apologizing for her poor judgment for collaborating with him on the 2013 song Do What You Want With My Body. Do what I want with your body. Gaga saying, I stand behind these women 1,000%, believe them, know they are suffering and in pain, and feel strongly that their voices should be heard and taken seriously. She's now planning to take the song down from streaming sites. And after an Illinois prosecutor urged alleged victims to come forward, 2 new accusers tell the Chicago Sun-Times they've reached out to police. So have the parents of Joycelyn Savage, who believe Kelly is holding their daughter against her will, despite this interview she did with TMZ last year.
There's rumors out there, people are saying that, I'm captive and I'm hostage. Well, obviously that's not true. I'm out here, enjoying life and doing my own thing, so.
The family tells ABC affiliate WSB they haven't seen Joycelyn in 2 years.
My gut feeling is that my daughter is somewhere, hiding in a corner, praying that we come and help her.
And David, Joycelyn's parents contacted police after they say they were threatened by 2 of R. Kelly's associates over their allegations and also because they participated in this documentary. David?
Lindsay Davis tonight. Thank you, Lindsay. And this evening to the Russia investigation. And as President Trump left for Texas today, our John Carl asked him about the accidental revelation that his campaign chairman, Paul Manafort, had shared polling data with business associates accused of having ties to Russian intelligence. Here's how the president reacted to the news.
Did you know that Paul Manafort was sharing polling data from your campaign with the Russians?
No, I didn't know anything about it. Nothing about it.
If the special president was also asked if the special counsel's final report should be made public, he answered, we'll have to see. To the big question tonight involving the Oscars, who will host? Well, possibly no one. The Academy Awards is without a host since Kevin Hart stepped down after he was pressed to apologize over homophobic comments he made in the past. He did apologize, but is now not interested in the job. And tonight, Variety is now reporting for the first time in nearly 30 years, there may be no host. Here's ABC's Kana Whitworth.
It's been one of Hollywood's most coveted roles.
Wonderful night for us.
Billy Crystal
This is the night war